Здравствуйте, а когда начнется?
Начнется в час. Еще 3 минуты. Сейчас небольшие технические техническая подготовка небольшая с Аборочкиным. Ганель Миртайна, ваш друг здесь? Вы его видите? Где наш уважаемый профессор?
Пока нет, сейчас я вот ему звонить буду. Еще раз.
Я участников смотрю, Косту сдавал, нет, не вижу тоже.
К сожалению, профессор не выходит на связь. Кустов, where are you? Он подсоединяется. Итак, дождемся, да, когда подсоединится, и мы начнем сегодняшнее наше... Так, добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Сегодня мы здесь все собрались на очередных Science Talks, которые посвящены... Yes. Хорошо. Он заходит, просто, видимо, связь не очень хорошая, все-таки расстояние, может, сказывается.
Ганель Миртайна, он у нас выступает, доктор Далал выступает первым, да, или Айжан Сагиевна первая выступает?
Вообще доктор Далал первым по регламенту.
Хорошо. Ну, давайте подождем еще только 2 минуты, как будто не казахи.
Итак, добрый день всем, уважаемые коллеги, уважаемые друзья, уважаемые сотрудники Казахского национального университета имени Аль-Фараби и наши коллеги из Итак, добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Сегодня мы продолжаем цикл наших серий Science Talks, которые, в общем-то, посвящены 1150-летию со дня рождения великого учителя Востока Абу Насра Аль-Фараби. Это серия, которая называется Абу Наср Аль-Фараби, философ цивилизации, этика и гуманизм. В общем-то, очень много уже было интересных здесь спикеров, очень много интересных дискуссий, и было поднято очень много тем. И сегодня, в общем-то, тема тоже не менее интересная, и она посвящена такому интересному вопросу, как этика, обязанности и ответственность, этические основы существования общества и государства, а также государственного управления. Сегодня у нас два спикера. Это Айжан Садикызы и профессор Кустуф Далал. В общем-то, сегодняшний наш спикер, доктор Кустуф Далал, который будет выступать первым, позвольте мне представить его. Это профессор кафедры медицинских наук Университета Средней Швеции, директор Центра профилактики травм и обеспечения безопасности Университета Эребро, Швеция. В общем-то, профессора Кустува Далала я знаю достаточно давно. Мы с ним сотрудничали. В общем-то, наше плодотворное сотрудничество началось именно на стезе профилактики травматизма и укрепления безопасности, а также создания движения безопасных сообществ в европейском регионе. В общем-то, профессор Кустуф Далал известен как в своей стране, так и за ее пределами. Он является автором множества публикаций, является известным ученым, общественным деятелем. Вот, и, в общем-то, является научным руководителем докторантов из разных стран мира, магистрантов. Вот, а также, в общем-то, является приглашенным профессором в нашем Казахском национальном университете имени Аль-Фараби и ведет занятия как у наших магистрантов и докторантов по таким важным темам, как укрепление здоровья, health promotion и профилактика заболеваний, а также биостатистика, продвинутый уровень, который, в общем-то, является одним из важнейших тоже компонентов обучения наших докторантов. Вот. Он также является известным специалистом в области экономики здравоохранения и также глобального здоровья и построения безопасных сообществ в Европе. Kustuf, can you please switch on your microphone?
Shall I start now?
Yes, please.
Okay, just let me share my screen. Yes. Good morning from Sweden. And we had this is our day now. So you can see how is our day. And last few weeks we are passing, and until April we will have the same weather. And today we are expecting the snowfall. And good afternoon for you. Okay, so I'm now starting my small talk on ethics, economics, wellness, and the society, and what we have learned so far. So, what is ethics? It's the right or wrong as the community or the society set the norm, and it's subjective. Sometimes it's some written guidelines, especially for scientific field, and sometimes it's for the society is carrying out for years. And there is a little difference between ethics and morality, because most of the time in English language we interchanged these two terms, but moral is normative, right or wrong, within me, within you, within she, within her. It's individual. And what we have found, I don't know, yes, in the economics is nothing but how best we can use our resources. How best we can use our scarce resources. And when we are thinking about using the scarce resources, there comes these two terms very interchangeably, ethics and moral. The way the society is guiding us, that in fact develop the moral in our children. And the children tomorrow will be the adults, and after day after tomorrow, they will govern us and rule us. So here is a big fallacy of economics, ethics, and moral when we link this term with wellness. The wellness or the well-being is a comfortable, healthy, and happy life, or how comfortable you are. Now, I add another term, it's society. It's a group of people living together in a more or less ordered community. So now you see that how the ethics and society are interchangeably linked to each other. When we are thinking about society, about economics, about ethics, about moral, at the end of the day, we are trying to think about well-being. So where is your comfortable? Where is your healthy lifestyle? And where is your happiness? A couple of years back, the Nobel laureates has invited me for a keynote speech on this issue. And I told the same logic I am explaining now. Now everyone in this world, except few in the Oriental countries, including Kazakhstan, Russia, India, except few who are like living like saint, most of us, we are running behind zeros. It seems that you will laugh if I say that we all are running behind zeros. Why? Because when my income was 100, I was spending 90 and saving 10. When my income was 1,000, I was spending 100, saving 90. When my income was 10,000, then I was spending 200, and the rest, I have enough money, so I was thinking about luxury. And our want is unlimited. The first thing we say, our want is unlimited. So we are buying the cars, we are buying the planes, we are buying XYZ. But we are not buying the happiness. We are not buying the health. So what we are doing at the end of the day, when I am going to bed, I am checking my bank account. How many zeros are there? Is it 1 million? Is it 1 billion? Is it 1 trillion? So the left is almost irrelevant to us. On the right, how many digits are enhancing? And the digits are mainly zeros. And what is happening when, because at the night before going to bed, most of the time, we try to estimate, oh, I had that amount left, or I have to gain that amount. So those zeros are giving some neurotoxin secretions. So either I am sleeping well or I am not sleeping well. But for the rest of the day, I am feeling that I have health, I have happiness, but no. End of the day, if you sleep well, the medicine is saying that we can eliminate many diseases from our health. So in fact, how morally I am guiding myself, irrespective of the society, irrespective of the ethics, irrespective of the well-being, irrespective of the moral, that is defining my quality of life. If I run behind money, I am ending with so many diseases. That means even I am living my life, but I am not living with full health. Let's come to the concept more. So here is our body, here is our mind, and here is our spirit. So Blackstar actually defined these three, that you are in the center. And based on Blackstar model, I have added that we, in fact, the mind, the spirit, the body, unless you are super spiritual like a saint, we always need a safety envelope. The safety envelope, the safety by means of physical safety, psychological, psychosocial safety, economic safety, all safety issues you can bring in here. And that in fact depends on this basic triangle where community is the base. The environment where we live, individual and socioeconomic environments are actually triggering the safety where I am living. And how the community through this individual and socioeconomic environment, here you can say actually physical environment also, providing all sorts of safety that actually guiding my body, my mind, and my spirit. And these three is total me, total you, total individual. So if even I told about the ethics, about moral, unless my community or my society gives me the safety envelope, my mind, my body, my spirit will not give me 100% me, 100% you, 100% individual. And when I am not aware about 100% individual, I must incorporate in nature, because nowadays we have cut up ourselves from the nature. To me, I believe personally that nature had tried to give us a lesson through this corona. Every second or third year, the nature creates some special virus or special pandemic or epidemic, something. We never learned from it. We had the swine flu a couple of years back. We did not listen. We did not learn any lesson. And now we had the corona. And look, we had started like this bending body. Now 80% of us who are, who are working at the sitting position, we have also gained the same bending body. So nature has returned us. And we are living with our ego, forgetting the nature. And that's why we are not getting our full health. Except human being, all the elements, all the animals, all the creatures, all the organisms in nature, they try to synchronize with the nature, except human being. We are cutting ourselves more and more from the nature. And that is why we are pushing the whole human civilization towards vulnerability. The more you disconnect from the nature, more vulnerability you will create around yourself. And that is happening exactly to us. We did not learn any lesson. And that is why now our body, our mind are not synchronized. And if these two synchronized, only then comes the third, the spirit. Those few countable persons in this world are synchronizing with the nature. They are full control of these three, body, mind, and spirit. And they are the most happy person in this world. In one province in Himalaya, there is one special tribe. Maybe you can Google it. It's Yuan, and they actually win the battle against age. They consume a lot of apricots and completely synchronized with the nature. And I read one report from BBC and National Geography that they actually, even the 70, 75 years old woman is looking like a teenager. And they communicate with them with whistling. So they whistle from one mountain to another mountain to communicate between them. So they are synchronizing with the nature. And they are actually living longer and happier life. So now I should ask you, this model world cutting all connectivity from the nature, and we are exaggerating or boasting that I am the superior among the animal, what is happening? What is the opinion on the shortage of food in the rest of the world? Because you know, food crisis is the most challengeable crisis now we are going through it throughout the world. And next year, for God's sake, if we could not control, there will be a couple of millions starve and may die under malnourishment. So when I am taking this action for jovial mood, but what is opinion for food shortage? Africa is saying that what is food? Europe is saying what is storage or shortage? America is saying what is the rest of the world? And Arabian is saying what is opinion? So this is the world in a nutshell. Now we are living. So where is the ethics? Where is the moral? Where is the well-being? Where is the society? Everything is guided by some zeros. I started my talk. The economy is guided by some zeros, no ethics, no morality. So a nation's health is a nation's wealth. We all know it. This wealth consists of 4 forms of capitals: economic, natural, social, and human. And here is the congruence. Here is the social capital, the natural capital, the economic capital, and at the center, we are the human capital. Now, every economy is running behind economic capital, destroying natural capital. Very few countries like Nordic countries or Taiwan and Japan, no one is thinking about creating social capital. So how we can expect that we should create the greater human capital? And when we are emphasizing on human capital, then we must give this example. I always give this example. Look how the work-life balance, because here, when we are thinking about the social capital, natural capital, economic capital, we are not thinking about human capital. We are running behind the monies. We are running behind the economy. We are running behind the zeros. And what is happening that when we are not balancing, because here when you are running behind, you are asking your subordinate, whatever happening to her or to him, just go behind the job and earn the money and earn the money. We forget that she is a human being. We forget he is a human being. She or he has a family, children. And what is happening? She or he is failing to balance between these two, the work life and the personal life. The top 10 countries, look, Netherlands, Italy, Denmark, Spain, France, Lithuania, Norway, Belgium, Germany, and Sweden. These top 10 countries are top in human capital. Why? Because they try their best to balance between work and life. And the exactly opposite I can see in Kazakhstan, in India, in South Africa, in Brazil. Those countries, in the names of development, economic growth, forget that we need to create the human capital. And most unfortunately, these concepts generated from our countries, from Oriental concept, that we must have balance. Now, by some political or by twist of something, these concepts are practicing in these countries. And we forget our concept, what Abu Nasser Al-Farabi has initiated, what Chanakya or Kautilya has initiated in our region. And what is happening? The amount and quality of leisure time is very important. We forget it because it gives the physical health, the mental health, the overall well-being. If we do not have the overall well-being or wellness, we cannot have the healthy days. Sitting on your desk and working is not your productivity. Presenting by physically in certain place is not your productivity. You are just present there, but your productivity is not 100%. And even in one city, Gothenburg in Sweden, they have tried to create 6 hours working day. And they try to calculate that is the productivity is 100% or not. Actually, they found that 6 hours working day is much more productive than 8 hours working day. That means the more you give work-life balance, the more productivity you will get. And our policymakers don't understand it, be it private sector, be it public sector, government sector. Our policymakers are believing the more you stay in work, you are producing more. And that's a very stupid basic failure. So when you are not getting the healthy days, your productivity are not 100%. If I am sitting here with 80% health, then my productivity should be 60%, 50%. So even I am getting my full salary, but my productivity is getting lower and lower. And if you accumulate this lower productivity, this creates a huge hole in the economy. And that's why even in the low and middle income countries, the people are working more and more than the Nordic countries and few OECD countries. Their economic development and growth rate is not increasing. This is the very basic point we need to understand. And when we are thinking about this, safety always creates the crucial role, where the individual safety and the environmental safety are the most important pillars for our leisure time, for creating the health. So here is the relation between father, mother, children, and a family. So this family actually is surrounded by culture, the extended family, the school, religious organizations, neighborhood, and work. And when the work is pressing the family, actually it's creating the pressing culture. In Sweden, if I do not do my work, then the superior can come and ask why you are not doing. Very politely. In Kazakhstan, if you do not perform your work, they will not ask you that why. They will say, tomorrow If you do not work, you will get fired. So that's an unsafe culture they are creating. Unsafe employer-employee relation they have created. And so when you are coming back from work to your neighborhood, you are creating the same unsafe neighborhood. We all are in the rat race. We forget that we are included in the nature. We are included in the society. It's not how big apartment you are living, how big or how beautiful neighborhood you are living. The most important, how natural neighborhood you are living. Now, one of my student and me, we are doing, she is doing her PhD and actually MPhil, and then it will be a PhD. That how the people in some community are using the free air. Free air, you understand? Because we know if we go more and more in the outside and exhale more oxygen, it will give us better health. If it's better health, we can have better productivity. So we are even doing the research on these sorts of neighborhood. And what we are doing in Kazakhstan, no one is taking care of the pollution. No one are taking care of the neighborhood, the culture, nothing. All are running behind rat race to buy a better car, to buy a better apartment, which is nothing, which is rubbish at the end of the day. And here is the system. The family, you are showing the relationship with your parents to your children. Actually, exactly, she will replicate with you when you will be old and she will be the adult. So this small relationship actually exaggerate or extended to our neighborhood, and that extended to our occupational environment. Because at the center, you are here, and then it's extended to your family, to your neighborhood, to your external or work environment, be it at school, be it at work. So workplace and other individual actually guiding the parent-child relation, because if you are tired, you have listened bad words from your boss, from your superior, you will come back to school, you come back to school to pick up your kids, and you are already irritated. So you are not speaking normally to your child. Sometimes you are controlling yourself to behave normally, but the frequency you are sending, she is accepting it. At the end of the day, we are some physical particles. We remove some frequencies. The bad frequencies you are sending to your children, she is receiving those bad frequencies, be it by words, be it by feelings, be it by your attire. So that actually percolating from you to your children. And the children is percolating to her class. And her class is percolating to the school. The school is percolating to the neighborhood. So you understand how crucial this is. And here, this systematic thing, actually, this parent-child relations have big impact on the schools and the health and safety at the occupational level. So the society, this health and safety actually brings the society. I told you, you have dreaming to have another zero at the end of the day. So everyone around you is trying the same to get another extra zero in the bank balance. So you are creating the same society, and the same society is creating you. And the same society is asking you that if you are absent tomorrow or after 2 days, you will be fired. So even you are very sick, you are coming to work to prove that please don't fire me. I need to get extra zero in my bank. And actually, this society is again developing how good or how bad you are behaving with your children. The children are the fathers of the future. Please do not forget it. And here, a simple example from US. From US statistics, if you live 78 years, they have only 28 years, they are sleeping 1/3 of. 9 years left, how you will spend it. And look, even you are believing that you are working very hard in US, without working you cannot survive. So in that super capitalistic country, out of 78 years, they are working only 10.5 years. Only 10.5 years. 9 years is to you, belonging to you. You decide how good you will present yourself to your children, to your wife, to your families, to your colleagues, because your colleagues are your extended family. I always argue like it. So healthy and safety culture, create it. If someone comes to X and ask, why papa, 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 then A, B, C, D all should come and back X and argue with the superior. Sorry, she is a human being. We all are with her. We should create the new culture. Stop from now. Stop. Enough has done. Now we should reformulate our healthy and safety culture. Start from the workplace. Because think of your children. If you go back with the bad mentality and physical performance, it will have big impact on your children. And you spend more hours with your colleagues. Imagine I always ask to my colleagues, we spend more or at least same hours with you than my families. So you are nothing but an extended family. So if you created your extended family a better culture for both health and safety, you can bring that health and safety better culture to your family, and all family will be happy, will live with greater wellness. The neighborhood will be better. So safe and healthy workplace is key to all families, communities, and the nation. If the employers understand it, the nation can be built up. Just shouting and threatening, we cannot build up the nation. I think we had learned the lesson for last 50, 60 years. Now everyone should start thinking that we did the wrong. Now we should come to the right. And so your ethics, your economy, your health and happiness, your wellness, all those I told, it starts from your workplace. If you create a better workplace, you can create much better health, much better economy, much better wellness for you, for your family, for your colleagues, for your friends, for your neighborhood. Actually, that will give you a better opportunity for our children. Now, I am not saying you here, I am saying our children, because they are our future. It could be your child, it could be her child, it could be XYZ child. But at the end of the day, they are our child. Those children will be our future father. And actually, they will build up the nation. So back to basic, we forget to smile and breathe. Imagine from today, when you will sit and work, sometimes you can put some alarm in your clock or your mobile and check whether you are breathing normally or you are smiling to someone for the last 24 hours. That are the basic. So my humble request, back to basic, smile and breathe. Because if you are short of breath, you will be annoyed. You cannot have a proper behavior to your families, to your kids, to your extended families. You need it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, профессор Далал. Большое спасибо, профессор Далал, за очень интересную презентацию. Действительно, это презентация, которая, в общем-то, вобрала в себя очень многие моменты, именно связанные с философией нашего великого философа Абу Насра Аль-Фараби, именно аспекты, связанные с добродетелями, с счастьем, потому что действительно, согласно мировоззрению нашего философа Аль-Фараби, действительно, счастье – это основное достижение вообще человека. И, в общем-то, одним из путей достижения счастья – это, конечно же, гармония в жизни. Именно вот такой подобный подход, именно на поиска баланса в жизни как раз-таки было отражено в выступлении нашего профессора Далала. И, в общем-то, я с удовольствием послушала. Это очень интересно, потому что я бы, честно говоря, наверное, развила бы эту идею тоже дальше, потому что действительно такие связи между здоровьем, между благополучием и, в общем-то, экономикой и, самое главное, вообще политическим даже управлением в государстве, потому что действительно здесь надо менять многие парадигмы и взгляды, потому что у нас всегда считается, что чем больше работаешь, то тем лучше, но мы совершенно забываем, что когда-то человек должен жить и, в общем-то, воспитывать своих детей, потому что, как гласит одна из народных мудростей, лучше тратить на ребенка в 2 раза больше времени, чем денег. Потому что многие люди сейчас, мы действительно забываем о своих детях, о своем будущем, пытаемся заполнить тот вакуум, который образовался вокруг наших детей, не своим личным временем, не общением с ними, а тем, что мы покупаем им какие-то игрушки дорогие, те же, извините, гаджеты, потому что действительно так оно и есть, и наши дети просто не умеют даже общаться, потому что вот сейчас у нас отсутствует полностью коммуникации между детьми, между взрослыми и детьми, и вообще идет потеря связи между поколениями, что может действительно привести к краху любой нации. Поэтому это действительно очень важный вопрос вообще в формировании самого государственного строя в любой стране и вообще существования любого общества, естественно, впоследствии, чтобы формировать какую-то нацию, особенно счастливую, вот эти все аспекты должны быть приведены в баланс. Большое спасибо. И теперь позвольте вам напомнить, что у нас есть чат. Если у вас какие-то есть вопросы к нашим спикерам, вы можете их писать. Например, по выступлению профессора Далала, если у вас какие-то возникли вопросы или, может быть, какие-то комментарии, можно воспользоваться нашим чатом. Вот. А пока мы продолжаем, и позвольте мне представить нашего уважаемого второго спикера, Аяжан Сагикызы, который является профессором, доктором философских наук, старшим научным сотрудником Международного центра Аль-Фараби, Казну имени Аль-Фараби, главным научным сотрудником Института философии, политологии и религоведения Комитета науки Министерства образования и науки нашей страны, исполнительный директор ООО «Казахстанский философский конгресс». Аяжан Сагикызы является специалистом в области истории китайской философии, философии гуманизма в классических историко-философских наработках, включая этику конфуцианца. Это вообще очень интересно, лично и для меня тоже. Нео- и постгуманистских тенденций. Является автором более 200 научных работ. Является лауреатом премии имени Мухтара Умархановича Ауэзова. Награждена нагрудным знаком за вклад в развитие науки Республики Казахстан. Стипендиат государственных научных стипендий. Пожалуйста, Аяжан Сагикызы, мы вас внимательно слушаем. Сейчас вот только будет заставочка.
Добрый день, уважаемые слушатели.
I'm glad to welcome all the participants of today's session, and I would like to thank Professor Christophe Dalal for his topic, which I found fascinating and interesting, and relevant in these days. My topic is related with humanism and political ideology, And I would like to mention that it also linked with the philosophy of Al-Farabi. So Al-Farabi, he is the philosopher, the second scholar after Aristotle. So there are two main paradigms of normative analytical approaches to the study of political sphere that have formed in political philosophy. And the first tradition stems from Plato and Aristotle that raises the question which social political regime, which structures and functions of political institutes meet the demands of humanistic ideals and values, contribute to its welfare and improvement. And first of all, education of civil virtues. And within the framework of given paradigm, the essential ontological, axiological definitions of political ideology are formed in the sphere of social, philosophical, and philosophical political reflection. And Al-Farabi, he also focused on these issues in his works.
Действуют в соответствии с этими целями, и те, кто находится ниже, действуют в соответствии с целями вышестоящих и так далее. Он пишет, так располагаются по порядку различные члены городского объединения, вплоть до тех, кто действует согласно целям этих последних, и кто служит, но не обслуживается.
And another opposite worldview, methodological paradigm of political analysis, stemming from Machiavelli, considers the political sphere through the prism of utilitarian pragmatic criteria of efficiency, functionality, self-reproduction, stability of political systems, institutes, and regimes. And the essence of politics is supposed in improving of political technology, increasing of efficiency of the methods of political power.
Управление, заявляет Аль-Фараби, следуя в этом вопросе Платону, выпадает на долю того, кто расположен к нему от природы. То есть у него должны быть задатки. А таковым, как и в идеальном государстве Платона, может быть лишь философ, имам. Что касается имама, то тут позиция Аль-Фараби не согласуется с позицией Платона, хотя он сам так не считает. Согласно ему, понятие имам, философ, там, законодатель – это одно и то же. В добродетельном городе Аль-Фараби есть своя структура. У добродетельного города, пишет Аль-Фараби, 5 частей. Наиболее достойные лица, то есть мудрецы, ораторы, измерители, воины и богачи. Все они соотносятся по логике иерархии, которая незыблема. Эту незыблемость Аль-Фараби называет справедливостью. И вполне в духе позднего Платона, автора «Государства и законов», заявляет, каждому в добродетельном городе должен быть...
So the alternative of these two settings raises the question of possibility and ways of their synthesis, integration of purpose rationality and value rationality necessary in political activity, imperative of humanism and efficiency. However, in commensurability of criteria of legitimization of politics and its evaluation from the point of view, its efficiency is real but not effective, i.e. not rooted in substantial basement of political. Raising this incommensurability to principled thinking of social political analysis testify the spiritual ontological lameness, its subject, real social political practice, as well as worldview epistemological limits of its theoretical models. Beside the principle of productivity and efficiency of politics, according Leitert, is not effective in its legitimate functions because the dehumanization of governing by any high level of improving of its technology decreases the productivity of functioning of political system as a result of inconsistency of technology, ignoring the ontological futures of social reality as a system built on the base of back relations. This inconsistency explains in particularly weakness of state and socioeconomic bureaucracies. They pressure their controlling systems and subsystems and choke together with them. So it's like the negative feedback. It seems, and it was quoted by Leader, which in his work, The Stage of Postmodern. It seems that it's clear that the most important thing for the first paradigm of political discourse is the issue of human measurement of politics. And accordingly, methodology of axiological and cultural analysis, while the second is aimed at a systematic functional analysis and freedom from value judgments. Machiavelli became the synonym for technocratic approach for the solving of political tasks on capture, relation, and enhancing the power of the base of frankly cynical political technologies. And efficiency is welcome in any type of purpose activity, including the political activity. However, the humanization for the sake of efficiency became an ordinary deal pointed by Eric Fromm. At the same time, history justified that the most odious paternalistic totalitarian regimes and the most strong political technologies appeared especially on the base of first type of political ideology. So, for instance, antique or classical type of political thought are typologically characterized by such features like naturalism, universal natural cosmic order logos is ontological, axiological, and paradigm for structuring social political models, close connection between political and ethical worldviews, principle of interconditionality of political and moral virtues. Teleologism, the purpose of the state is to realize the welfare for its citizens, civil education, and confirmation of high moral values in state political life. This complex of essential characteristics attach anti-political culture the true humanistic character. This culture presents itself like keeper of common human ideals and values, asserts the supremacy of rational base, opposing to the threat of social chaos and breakup, political legal tyranny. There is a human in its center. However, if we turn to the Plato's text, especially to state and laws, one can find it described by Plato as principles of state governing as well as the ways of its realization through the system of political governing is contradictory to the understanding of humanism, characteristic to modern human in his political legal culture. Polis as a city-state and at the same time civil community for political philosophy of ancient times, including for Plato, is not only perfect but also single conceivable from form of social political organization, worth of human, providing of realization of rights and privileges of free citizens, creating and reproducing material, ideological, political, spiritual, moral basis of civil society. And Hegel believed that polis order is a classic example of harmony, a synthesis of personal and state, example of such political order in which the values and norms of political unit are directly the values and norms of personal being. For antique philosophical political thought, the submission of official prescribed polis order of public civil being is at the same time is a way of self-realization and improving in virtues. On the right of proud, which was said by Aristotle, civil of polis, and a human being alienated from political community became impious, while if only he could become Nietzsche's superhuman. The realization of humanistic values and ideals are possible only in accordance with the state built on those virtues. Meanwhile, Plato excludes from his perfect model of state establishment, appealing to embody social harmony on the principles of true wisdom and philosophically substantiated humanism, unity of true knowledge and universal kind. Liberal democratic individualistic ideologies and introduces the norm obligatory to all further totalitarian and autocratic political regimes. Citizens have been incarnated the duty of the strivings to perfection under the control of state, improving of civil virtues of submission and obedience by excluding any individualistic motives. Let the human being to achieve the skills not be able to do anything apart from the people and even to understand the possibility of that. Let the life of all people be united and common. Only such kind of power structures and political technologies of totalitarian and authoritarian type till the regime of enlightened tyranny are able to set an obstacle from ontological values of kind, truth, and beauty on the way of increasing wave of cynicism, low passions, self-interest, Athenian demos to the oblivion of civil virtues and death. And the analysis of history of philosophical political thought testify that the concept of common good as a purpose of politics invariably takes a form of moral, religious, theocratic teachings, and theocratic discourse invariably turns to moral living, referring to good incentivities, kind will, and worthy motives. At the same time, the direction to increasing the efficiency of administrative state governing on the base of applying of the methods of partly social engineering typologically characterize the political regimes of modern consolidated democracy. And the human measure of politics is the most important for modern democracy because the applying of political technologies of manipulation of the consciousness is getting became the main method of the power.
Дегуманизация во имя эффективности стала самым обычным делом, отмечал Эрих Фром. Вместе с тем история свидетельствует, что именно на основе политической...
At the same time, history testified that the most odious paternalistic totalitarian regimes and the most strong political technologies appeared especially on the base of first type of political ideology. And so if we look to the Plato's text, especially to his State and Laws, we can find the described by Plato as principle of state governing as well as the ways of its realization through the system of political governing is contradictory to the understanding of humanism, characteristic to modern human and his political legal culture.
Самое главное здесь следующее. Никто никогда не должен оставаться без начальника. Ни женщина, ни мужчина, ни в серьезных занятиях, ни в играх. Никто не должен приучать себя действовать по собственному усмотрению. Нет, всегда и на войне, и в мирное время надо жить с постоянной оглядкой на начальника и следовать его указаниям. Гражданам самого раннего возраста и на протяжении всей жизни вменялось в долг стремление к совершенству под надзором государства. Совершенствование в гражданских добродетелях покорности и послушания при исключении любых индивидуалистических мотивов. Он пишет словом: пусть человеческая душа приобретает навык совершенно не уметь делать что-либо отдельно от других людей и даже не понимать, как это возможно. Пусть жизнь всех людей всегда будет, возможно, более сплоченной и общей. Только вот такого рода властные структуры политических технологий тоталитарного, авторитарного типа, вплоть до режима просвещенной тирании, смогут поставить преграду из онтологически безусловных ценностей добра, истины, красоты.
Sergei Karamurza, analyzing the manipulation of consciousness as a special form of governing and technology of realizing of political power that gives for this description. Manipulation is method of dominance through the spiritual influence on the people through the programming of their behavior. And this influence is directed at psychological structures of human and it's implemented lately and set tasks to change opinions, intentions, and goals of people in the right directions of power. And further, he emphasized that manipulation of consciousness arises and becomes the dominant political technology only with the establishment of the social political order based on representative democracy of the Western type. But depriving human to think independently and critically, rationally to develop its own views, this type destroys the autonomy of individual, undermining value ontological basement of Western civilization. In other words, the paradigm of efficiency of political technology and paradigm of social humanitarian priorities of political governing in modern political theory and political action and experience is no more in the position of mutual exclusion, but entered into the field of explicitly expressed interrelation and interdependencies.
Этот тип управления соответствует особенностям социальной онтологии, согласно которым эффективное такое функционирование нормативной системы социума основано не на обрекательном.
Purely instrumental approach to the politics as a technology of conquering and deterring the power, technology anxious with the issue of efficiency and indifferently pathing by the issues of consistency or inconsistency of political power with the principle of kind, beauty, truth, and the searches of ways of achieving of common good. And it's related to, as was mentioned earlier, with the works of Niccolo Machiavelli.
Ну, вот такой вот анализ историко-философской мысли свидетельствует о том, что концепция всеобщего блага как цели политики неизменно принимается морально-религиозных, теократических, по сути, учений, а теоретический дискурс неизменно оборачивается морализаторством, ссылками на благие побуждения, добрую волю, достойные мотивы. Но в то же время...
His work, Sovereign, one of the most famous political texts that does not cease to amaze its readers with program and astonishing immorality. And according to Machiavelli, the politics means cold instrumental science that teaches how to achieve results, but not how to follow the values. And in particular, this science teaches that in order to keep the state under his power, king should acquire the skills to retrieve from kind to against his worst, against mercy, kindness, and pity. At the same time, being indignant against in the dehumanization of politics and deitization of political reflection of such discourse, reducing the power to pure technology. Once forget that Machiavelli was one of the outstanding representatives and famous figure of Renaissance humanism.
Кантом концепции политических процедур как публичного употребления разума является сегодня...
As all Italian humanists, Machiavelli shared and developed philosophical, anthropological understanding of human as a being relying only on himself and his autocratic freedom in his thoughts and action. Such understanding of human consisted with political philosophy that deprived political ideology of any transcendental, sacral, metaphysical basement. The Machiavelli's works determined the problem of synthesis of substantial value and instrumental technological adequacy of politics, integration of latter Aristotelian and Machiavelli's paradigm on the principles of single humanistic worldview for further political philosophy.
Но опыт и история учат, что народы и правительства никогда ничему не научились из истории и не действовали согласно поучениям, которые...
And how the Hegel wrote that for the government and for the authorities and for the nation and actually society is important to gain and to learn from the experience of the history. But as the history shows that actually as authorities, nation and community and an individual didn't learn anything from the history. And I would say that I see eye to eye in this. I share his point of view.
Возможно без осмысления сущности и социокультурной значимости национальных ценностей. Как бы ни изменилось мировоззрение, мироотношения, ценности современного человека, его природа не изменилась везде.
The problem of humanistic content of political ideology should be set and resolved within the concrete historical context of complex interrelations and inversions of mentioned paradigms of political discourse. And one of the obvious principles and criteria of humanization of politics is the minimization of politically legitimized forms of violent actions. In a globalization age, human being is needed in global political ethics and effective technologies of realization of its principles.
Вот в вашем выступлении, и здесь, в общем-то, был такой великолепный экскурс, как в историю вообще вот философии именно касательно государственного управления, требованиям к различным руководителям и правителям, так и, в общем-то, такой международный опыт различных стран и также глобальный опыт, потому что действительно мы живем не одни на этой планете, нас много, мы вроде бы все разные, но нас всех объединяет одно и то же. Мы до сих пор не достигли идеального такого общества, в котором действительно люди могли бы сосуществовать, достигать счастья как индивидуального, так и общественного, как, например, это отражено в трудах самого Абу-Насра Аль-Фараби, потому что действительно невозможно быть, скажем так, счастливым в единичном экземпляре, когда вся твоя страна, вся твоя нация находится, ну, в общем-то, в не самом лучшем состоянии. Вот поэтому действительно Это очень такое интересное вообще выступление. Я, честно говоря, с удовольствием еще раз послушаю, потому что я даже кое-какие записи делала, потому что кое-какие интересные сведения тоже почерпнула. Вот. И с удовольствием, конечно же, порекомендую всем своим коллегам, друзьям посмотреть наши записи сегодняшнего Science Talks, как на Фейсбуке, так и на Ютубе, значит, на канале Центр Аль-Фараби. Но, тем не менее, давайте посмотрим, что пишут в нашем чате. Возможно, есть какие-то вопросы к спикерам. Но здесь, в общем-то, в основном благодарность, потому что наши зрители с удовольствием послушали сегодняшних наших спикеров. Вот большое спасибо спикерам за интересные содержательные доклады. Спасибо. То есть, в общем-то, действительно, сегодняшняя наша тема была очень актуальной, животрепещущей. И, в общем-то, действительно, вопросы государственного управления, они актуальны. И вот, если честно, послушав сегодня наших спикеров, я все больше и больше склоняюсь к мысли о том, что все-таки наших будущих, скажем так, сотрудников госуправления надо обучать, жестко причем обучать и философии, и истории. И пока они не сдадут на отлично оба эти экзамена, вообще не допускать к власти, честно говоря, потому что, ну, вот просто красной нитью сейчас проходит, я вот с людьми даже просто разговариваю, все говорят, люди забывают историю, повторяют ошибки прошлого и ничему хорошему, новому не учатся. Вместо того, чтобы строить действительно на основе прошлых ошибок, как говорится, наступаем, извините за простонародное выражение, на те же грабли. Но здесь по-другому никак не скажешь. Но в любом случае, действительно, с другой стороны, вот такие великолепные знания в области философии, в области политологии, они нам дают, в общем-то, шанс, надежду на то, что все-таки в конечном итоге мы достигнем именно этого счастливого общества, о котором писал наш Абу Наср Аль-Фараби, и в конечном итоге все-таки общие человеческие ценности станут во главе угла. Вот, поэтому большое спасибо сегодня всем нашим спикерам. Большое спасибо зрителям, которые нас пришли поддержать. И несмотря на обеденный перерыв, это большое вам всем спасибо. Вот, позвольте вам всем пожелать крепкого здоровья, потому что здоровье – это, в общем-то, действительно основа всей нашей деятельности, нашего счастья. Позвольте пожелать вам всем успехов в работе, естественно, счастья, благополучия и, в общем-то, всего самого наилучшего. И встретимся на дальнейших сериях наших Science Talks. Большое спасибо за внимание.
Спасибо.